Shall we begin?
Let's get started.
Hey, Mom, can I have $20?
I gave you $20 yesterday.
Futures Academy in Victoria is a different kind of school. We use the individually designed educational achievement plan to build a program for your child based on their needs, strengths, and struggles. If your child has had trouble in public school, perhaps developed anxiety or fallen behind in grade levels and achievement, give us a call. Our number is 361-433-0322. You can also check us out on the web at futuresacademyvic.com. I look forward to hearing from you.
Okay, I want to start this one.
Okay.
So this is Stephanie, and I'm with Cheyenne and her friend Bridget. Say hi, Bridget.
Hi.
So she's with us today, and this is completely on a whim because this is how we do things. Don't get crazy telling us you want to be on the podcast because we'll do it right now. That is what we do. So I guess what started this conversation was talking about how you were in high school. I haven't seen Bridget in years other than maybe occasionally. So
Every once in a while, yeah.
12 years or
I think
something.
you've
It's probably been
seen
since
my
I've seen
brother,
you.
like at the
I've
bar
seen
or
your brother
something.
more than I've seen y'all.
Yeah. It's very strange for me as a mom to see all these people that my kids were friends with grown up.
Yes.
Like, I'm looking at you going, are you old enough to get married? And yet you're the same age as my kid who's married and got kids. So, yeah, it's very weird for me to look and imagine that you're a whole adult.
Yeah, I don't, like, adulting, no one ever teaches you how to, like, adult.
Right.
And, like, unless parents are there all the time for y'all. And you were always there for Cheyenne, so I felt like, you know, now she's an adult with her own children, her own kids.
Child,
so
yeah.
So it's like, dang, that's crazy because we were there. Like,
I know.
We were there watching scary movies and staying up all night and eating
we did
cereal.
used to watch scary
And
movies.
so it's like now looking back at it, it's so crazy to think like what a simpler time that was. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
you didn't have the problems that you didn't know you were going to have now. Like, you
no
weren't
one
paying
tells
bills
you.
and,
No,
yeah.
No one teaches you that. Schools don't teach you that. Like, God forbid, parents even
Futures
let you
Academy
know about
does.
that. There you
Yeah,
go.
Futures Academy does. We really do have a class called Adulting 101, and
I
that
love
is
it.
exactly what it is.
Yeah, no, I love it. As you should.
And, you know, when I was younger, I learned a lot of those things from my mom because I spent time with my mom.
Yeah.
Teenagers today, y'all don't. Mm-hmm. You're out running around. You've got your own circle. You've got the phone that keeps you busy.
Yep.
And, yeah, you don't just pick that up like
Yeah.
you did when I was young.
Yeah, like my mom was always telling me, come in the kitchen, watch me cook, or come do this, come do that
Yes.
with me. And I was always really down to do it. And so I feel like nowadays, like, yeah, you're right. Teenagers don't want to be around their parents. I mean, that's the last thing that they want right now. So
Yeah.
they're not learning any of the life skills that they're needing to know.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you're planning a wedding right now.
Yes, I
in
am.
In a week, right? Like a week and a half?
Actually, to be exact, we have 10 days.
10 days.
Yes.
That's a big number because
Yeah.
tomorrow it's single digits.
Yes, I know.
So how does not knowing how to adult and learning that on your own fit into planning a wedding? Like, is that not just the
gosh.
most monumental task ever?
See, okay, and here's the thing. Everyone's like, oh my gosh, I'm so happy for you. Are you excited? And I've just been straight up telling people no. Because
Yeah.
it's so stressful, it's overwhelming, and like maybe if I had a planner, things would be a little different. But I'm myself am a planner and I'm very organized and very like go-to. But even now, like in today's world with how expensive everything is, it is crazy. And even my mother-in-law, my future father-in-law, they're both kind of helping us out, and they're even saying, well, whenever we did the wedding for so-and-so or so-and-so, it wasn't that much. And now
It
it's
is that
crazy.
much. And especially in the last few years since the pandemic, the prices of everything have gone up.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, I can't imagine trying to feed people at a wedding or all of that kind of stuff. And,
Yeah.
you know, even doing things on the cheap, there's only so cheap some stuff can get.
No, and that's exactly right. And you know, a lot of times now weddings consist of like having no kids, and I see why. Not only
Yeah.
because, don't get me wrong, I love kids. I have a lot of kids in my family. That's not the situation. It's the fact of adding those. It was almost 50 or 40 kids added total. With
Oh,
my
wow. I
family.
never even thought about that.
Yeah, with his family, with my family. So that's an extra plate to add along
5 extra
50
tables right
times,
there.
yeah.
Exactly. And keep in mind, you know, kids
And
are going to be
space.
kids. They're not going to eat all their food. They're maybe going to bite maybe a couple bites of their food and then go run off to play.
And you're still paying $16 a plate,
That's right.
whether they're a whole plate eating or not.
That's right.
Yeah.
And so we actually made our wedding no kids because of that reason. It was just so expensive. Did we have a lot of people disagree with it? Yes. Are we going to have some people not happy about it? Probably. But at the same time, we take it as, have a date night with your significant other. Come and spend this weekend away. Even if you end up going back from Rockport, which is where we're having our wedding, even if you go back from Rockport to wherever you're staying at, like, regardless, you had a date night with your significant other. And I don't have children, so I may not know what it's like to spend that whole night away from your kids or that whole weekend. I don't know that yet, but we wanted to make it somewhat special and make it to where it accommodates by everyone, and sometimes that just doesn't always happen.
Cheyenne and I actually talked about this on an episode recently where we were saying, when I was younger, it was understood that children didn't come to events like wedding. And if you wanted to specifically allow them, that's what you stated. Children welcome. Whereas today it's understood that children are pretty much welcome everywhere unless you say otherwise.
Yes.
So that's a different change for me. So I think nothing of it when I see no kids. All right, great.
I had a lot
There
of
won't be a
people-
baby cry through your whole ceremony like there was mine.
Well, and like for your wedding, I'll be there on the day of coordinator if anyone needs a wedding planner.
Heck yes.
My husband, we're from Rockport, so he has a place to stay there or whatever, but he's going to stay there with the baby so that I can go home and be with her that night. But 6 months after yours, I have Caitlin's wedding where I'm involved all weekend, and she's got to be away from me, and that's a hard thing. And
Be a bump for her. 'cause-
something I never thought that would be a struggle, you know. Another thing I want to say is, talking about when we were teenagers, I've said before that Bridget is one of my last friends that knew my dad.
Oh, that's true.
Yes.
Did you
What
like?
an angel. Oh, I loved him.
Did you really? Oh, he was funny,
Yes,
right?
he
Did
was
he give you a hard
hilarious.
time about anything?
Always.
Yeah,
Always.
because that was just his. That
just
was
his
on
way of
brand for him.
things.
Oh,
But
yeah.
I loved that, because then if like he
Like
came
that
in and he was
slang
like
there.
super quiet. But if he came in like super quiet, I was like, what's wrong? Like, because I already knew, because like he doesn't come in just like that.
No,
I
ever.
remember-
He's
I remember
loud and
and he would always bombard me and Cheyenne, and she would be all mad. Like, and like I'm thinking about that now. We love that, because like you think of those like memories, and you're like, wow, like that. Those were good times. Like, for
Yeah.
sure.
I also said earlier, don't you think that actually, Bridget, let me show you this picture I found the other day of you.
no,
That can
bringing
range-
out the photos.
That can
This
range
needs to be
so
on our
far.
thumbnail for the episode. Whatever this is, you're gonna have to put this picture on there.
Oh no, let me approve of it first. Oh my god.
Okay, it was a picture I found on someone else's Facebook, so it's kind of creepy actually, so we probably can't use it. Man, where did it go? Where did it go? Where did I find
Oh
that?
gosh, that's the most Gen Z thing I've
anyways.
ever heard you say.
But it's so funny to look at her with like no makeup, like no, like Bridget's mom did not let her wear the eyeliner all crazy.
Oh
like,
yeah.
Keep in mind, my mom is a very strict Hispanic parent.
Yeah. And so like, man, is it in screenshots? Please, where is it? Okay, I'll find it in a second. But anyways, you turned out exactly how I thought you would. Completely tatted, all black, everything. Her house is all spooky, decorated.
cool.
Like,
You'll have
very
to come in and see
gothic,
it, yes.
yeah.
It's very Victorian style, like gothic.
Oh, I love that.
But yet I've added like my own switch up to it. Like I put a lot of like horror film kind of like things in there, just to kind of like make it different. Because keep in mind, like everyone has their own style. But I guess once you get into a house, you're like, wow, I can really do whatever I
I can do
want.
literally anything. Nobody can tell me I can't paint the walls black.
Exactly.
Yeah.
she did.
I did.
I have a dark purple wall, so I get it too.
Yeah.
So, what did you want to be when you were like 16? Like, what were your dreams at 16?
Girl.
Do you even remember? Are you a million miles from them now?
No, I'm a million miles from him. Yes,
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie, because I always wanted to be a zoologist. That was my big top thing.
Really?
Yes, ma'am. But the only thing that like stopped me was obviously school.
I found the
Working.
picture.
Oh my gosh, please.
Okay, welcome. Oh my gosh, what were you, 13 in that?
was
You were
that was in
young.
2012.
That was probably. yeah,
We're
it was 2012.
definitely putting that on the thumbnail.
We were
Please.
sophomores
And
that
with
year.
Dimitri? Oh my gosh. And if any of y'all who don't know who that is, it's one of our really good childhood friends. But oh my gosh.
Yeah, I found that the other day creeping. I found his Facebook and I was like, let me just look. I said,
No,
Bridget!
absolutely no makeup on. The side bangs, the emo bangs.
But you
Sure.
seriously must have been young in that picture.
I was.
This
yeah.
was
Like your
sophomore
face
year?
is
Yeah, that's
round.
like
Yeah.
sophomore year.
Yeah.
So soccer and softball.
Yeah.
for
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh
Yeah.
my gosh. That brought up that's like so cringy, but yet it's so like I'm glad to see those old photos. Of
Yeah, and you're like, oh, I remember that kid.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, gosh. And like, don't get me wrong, like knowing now, like where I'm at in my life, I'm like perfectly content. Like I'm pretty happy with my life, like where I'm at, even though, don't get me wrong, I wanted to be a zoologist, I wanted to do this, I wanted to do that. But at the same time, like, that would consist of moving to a bigger city or town. That's not for me. I came to Victoria because I'm from Rockport originally, so it's not too big, not too small.
Right.
So that's, like, perfect. And so now, like, having this life with my future husband and having our 5 fur babies and our house and everything, and next step is children, like, I think I'm ready. Like, I'm excited. Like, it's just, like, that next step into your life that you don't realize it's coming so fast, especially because I'm 28. So I'm like, oh wow, like it's going.
Yeah.
And so I don't really have too much time left.
Does it bother you that you're getting to push 30 and haven't
you've
started a family yet?
You're the last of your friends to have a baby.
Honestly, yes. And I've always been about like silly, like F them kids. But like, don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong. I do love the children and I love being an auntie. All my friends have kids right now. All my friends are either married, have kids, whatever. So being the last one, don't get me wrong, it does kind of hurt my feelings just a little bit. And
y'all didn't wait for me.
Yeah. and I couldn't expect them to, because like everyone has their own time, and so I get it. And like maybe I'll be pregnant at the same time they're having their second one, you know. But right now I'm pretty content. I like being the auntie. I like kind of being there for my friends, and I'm not the type of friend that would have just dipped as soon as they had their kids, like,
right?
Because that's not right. I want their children to see that, like,
it's a progress of their life, and we're all going to be there.
Exactly. Like I don't want an auntie that comes in and out. Like I want an auntie that's there for me, always there, and as loves my mom just as much as they love that kid, you know, or their dad. And so,
as a mom who had kids young, I had my first one at almost 22. The people like you who are there, who don't have 14 kids of their own to wrangle and all that kind of stuff, and if I call you and go, man, go to the grocery store with me because I can't go alone. Yeah, you're on it. Yeah. And though you and your type are so valuable to us, don't ever think that you're like playing second fiddle or something. You are so not. They're incredibly valuable friends to those of us that, you know,
losing our minds.
Yeah.
It's funny.
And sometimes you may need a break from the kid, and I'm like, gimme, you know,
yeah.
You know, let me take her to the park, or let me take him to the grocery store or something, just to get away and have that time for yourself.
Just to give you a minute.
You know what I mean?
I used to call Caitlin when River was a baby, and she was like crying, screaming, and I'd be like, if I gotta hear it, you do too. And she's like, all right,
we'll just talk over it.
I'm in it. And those are like we've also talked before, Mom, that it's see how normal it is for our age group to build a village.
Yes, and like, mine didn't.
Yeah, I agree. See, and I have this quote I really want to share too. I saw it on Facebook one time, and I was like, dang, this is like really real, and no one talks about this. But it says, no one really talks about how it feels to be a childless friend in your late 20s / early 30s, and how isolating it can sometimes feel because you lose a lot of common ground with women your age, or how you can sometimes feel less wise or mature, or assume others may look at you that way even if they don't, or how old it can be to get the question, so when are you having kids? Don't get me wrong, I love watching my friends be kids and have I love watching my friends be moms. This is just something I rarely see anyone talking about, which is a real thing.
That is true.
Yeah,
that is true.
That you start to feel like you can't relate to
yes. And don't get me wrong, like, you know, we have the friends who, like, the mommy group, like, who does out and does things with their kids.
Right.
And I'm kind of like tagging along, like, hey, I'm here, you know, like,
I'll bring my puppy.
Yes. And like a part of me, like, I want that, but a part of me is also very selfish right now, and I want time to myself and my husband first.
Yep.
So once that's done,
which I highly recommend.
Yeah,
you need a time to be husband and wife before you become mom and dad, if possible.
Exactly, and that's what we want. And we're going to be a little selfish, and if anything, we'll try on the honeymoon, and we'll see. But we'll just kind of do what we're going to do, kind of like go with the flow with it. So
yeah. Whatever.
It's
happens.
like once you're married, you're like, okay, now I'm allowed to have a baby, but we don't have to.
Yeah, no, I'm gonna push it. For sure. But we're both excited, and it's one of those things where we've been waiting. I mean, we've been together for 7 years, so it's tomorrow it'll be 7 years. Exactly.
Oh my gosh,
wow,
cool. What one of my favorite things though, I do wish that Kate and I had been married and like been together a little bit longer, just because like now we wanted to travel and like go do things, and like I don't want to take a 2-year-old in the airport. Like that is just rough.
See,
man.
and a lot of people do end up saying like, oh, it's okay, you can still travel with kids, but it's like that's an extra head to count on.
And bro, I don't wanna.
Yeah. I'm going to do grown-up activities on my vacation, and she is not a grown-up.
Yes.
I would say that I wish that had been the case, but having a baby with someone that you love and being in love while you're pregnant is like such a special thing. And when I was pregnant, I would cry all the time about women who were like single baby mamas, because I was like, who's rubbing your back at night?
That was one of the many hundreds of things that Cheyenne cried about when she was pregnant.
And so, like, those are things to look forward to. Like, that way you don't, I mean, yeah, it sucks to feel like you're kind of behind, but guess what? Like, you get to, like, make this your own experience. Like, that's so cool.
And we're excited, too, because Connor is a very good man. Like, for everyone who knows Connor, like, I mean, you know he is a good guy.
He's a sweet guy, yeah.
Sweet. And so, knowing how he is now and seeing how he is with our nieces, too, my ovaries. Oh, my God. When I see how he
mind
is,
of their own.
When I see how he is with them, I'm like, wow, he's so easygoing with the kids. Like, the kids love him. I think it's because they see that he's a giant kid himself. So he's they're like, oh, I like this.
Oh, and he's got a big old smile and glasses.
And so he's all happy about it. So knowing that, seeing that future for us, it's exciting.
I think that was kind of how Dad was too. He was a big old kid himself, so kids were like, "Hey, what's up, dude?"
Yeah. He really was, because as soon as I met him, I was just like, "Hey." Like,
well, and he would do stuff like that was supposedly behind my back. You know, he was punching on the kids and stuff like that, and be like, "If you tell Stephanie, you're going to be in big trouble." You know, and he was really just joking, but it made them feel like they were inside. You know, like they were in a special circle or something like that.
Yeah.
So, Bridget, I'm going to ask the question you've probably been asked a lot. Why did y'all wait so long to get married, and why now?
So, first of all, you can ask Connor that. We've been together for so long, and I think it was just like we were going through a lot at the time. There was a lot of big life events at that time too. Like Hurricane Harvey came whenever we first started dating.
Oh wow, yeah.
And then once we started dating, you know, we got a house, and COVID went around. So then
it was a whole new world too. Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. So like we lived through a lot of this kind of like.
And that was in your first 3 years.
You could not get married if you wanted to in that time. Exactly. There was just too much going on,
and like everything was closed. Everything was just, it was crazy. So I think finally once we settled down and we were like done with the house situation, we got a new car, you know, and everything like that. We were like, okay, is this the time? Like,
we're ready. Yeah.
And so finally he did propose last year in December, and everyone was so happy, excited.
Were you surprised?
I was, actually, yeah. He did a good job. Knowing that I don't like cliche stuff, he didn't ask me on Christmas Eve, but he asked me the day before. So
that's a good man.
That's it, exactly. So he listened. So he did really good, and I just feel like at this time, it's definitely one of those things where you're like, okay, I'm very grateful. I'm here where I'm at now, and yes, it took a long time to get there, but now it's like we can even have a better time spending it together as like a married couple, because a lot of people say once you sign that paper and like once you actually get married, things change, but they don't. I personally don't think that. I think so, because we live in a house together. We have all of our stuff.
It's just harder to leave now.
Marriage was the next step. Exactly. Yeah. And I mean, I've heard divorce is expensive, so I'm not trying to leave. And I told him, if you want to leave, go to the other bedroom. Like,
right. You're not really going anywhere.
No. Like, that's about it. But, you know.
I like that attitude, too. And it was like, we screwed up today and it went terrible. You know what? We'll try again tomorrow.
Yeah.
It's not the end of the world.
No, communication is the best key, too. And, like, I'm a big communicator. And, you know, he's learning that, too. Because over the years, like, that's all I've done.
Yeah.
And, you know, I've learned from my past relationships, like, what to do, what not to do, and how to act, how to react, and stuff like that. So
there are like some perks to, you know, kind of waiting.
Yeah.
Another thing too is you're getting to plan the wedding of your dreams.
Yeah.
That's cool. So that's a lot of thing I think our people our age are starting to not do. Either they go hard or not at all, which I would not at all.
Elope, or you know, or like
which is kind of what I did. Yeah. So
don't get me wrong, eloping was definitely on the table once we started seeing how expensive things were adding up.
Yeah.
But at the same time, we both have big families. We both knew we wanted to have this kind of day, so we were like, okay, let's do it. And now, being our wedding is on the Day of the Dead, and it's spooky themed. Like, this is gonna be a wedding that no one really knows of or like has seen. So I'm really excited to see the outcome.
It's gonna be a good memory. Yeah.
Yes, for my great coordinator, heck yeah, it's gonna be.
Hey, this is Stephanie. You already know that I am the owner and director of Futures Academy here in Victoria, Texas. We serve grades 5 through 12, and we are a different kind of school for kids who have not found success elsewhere. Or maybe you've been homeschooled or met up with some difficult times in public school, and mom and dad just need a little extra help for a while. Give us a call. Our number is 361-433-0322, and we will let you know how we can help.
So talking about what you wanted to do in high school, what did you want to do in high school? Like, what did you think your future was going to hold?
Oh, I thought I was going to get married at 19 and have the wedding of my dreams and live happily ever after and whatever. My life's a mess. Don't talk about me.
I mean, aside from, I'm dating somebody and we want to get married or whatever, but like, what did you want to do with a job? Did you, and I know you wanted to be a housewife. You really did.
I really did.
Did you ever have real career dreams of something I want to become? And
I've always felt like I was forcing myself to find a career I loved because what I wanted to do was be a mom. And let me tell you, now that I'm a mom, I want a job so bad.
It makes sense.
I'm just kidding. No, it is very special to me that my husband works so hard to allow me to stay home with our child.
That's
and
a blessing.
I know he's like stressed and like he takes on that burden, and like I tell him I'll never be able to give you that back. What
but
you've given to me,
raising the children and giving him a safe place to come home to, and a loyal woman, that is giving it back.
For sure,
Yes,
for sure. We actually did kind of elope a month before we got married. A month today, he said, "I'm ready for us to be married," and I said, "Me too." And I was 4 months postpartum, and so 2 weeks later, we got our marriage license, and 2 weeks after that, Mom married us downtown in Victoria.
Yes,
With just our parents there.
Yeah,
And I was concerned because I was like, are you sure?
Yeah.
You've dreamed of this wedding a long time. Are you sure? And the more we talked about it, she was like, I really haven't. I've planned a wedding off and on numerous times, but no, it's never been, a theme that continued through my whole life. And I just want to be married.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I want to be a wife.
Yeah. And I already was his wife. Whenever we had River, she was like, y'all need to stop calling each other husband and wife because you're going to end up common law married.
Yeah.
Doing that here in the hospital where it's documented. And so I was already his wife, but we,
Just didn't make it official.
now he tells me, now you have my name, I own you.
Oh, yeah. Your dad was so
I
sweet.
love
He
it.
said, the only thing I have to give you is my name.
Oh, such a sweetheart. All right.
Whatever. You could have made me rich and you gave me your name.
All right. So, Bridget, what is something that you think should be worth $20? And, not something like a house should be worth $20. Everybody thinks that.
But what should still be $20?
Still to this day?
Yeah.
Shoot.
Something that when I think of this, I always think if I need to go buy something, man, those used to be $20. Candy bar ought to be $1.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I was just buying makeup from Target yesterday. I spent alone on just makeup and hair products $150.
Oh my goodness, yeah.
So I really wish my body scrub that it uses to lighten your skin and stuff, that used to be $20. and I remember too, because my mom would complain about buying it because $20 for body scrub was still a lot.
Yeah.
And so now it is $32.
Wow.
And
Well, your
I think
skin
that's
looks
crazy.
great.
Thank you. You can tag Target.
Not sponsored.
Target is not affiliated with this.
That's really pretty cool. So one other thing, something that y'all touched on, and I know you're wanting to wrap it up, but I have a question now.
Yeah.
Y'all both want to be wives and raise children and do the old-fashioned thing, Little House on the Prairie, and be what your moms were. Is that common? Because you and I have kind of talked about this, and Lauren, housewife, mom, that is so wrong.
Lauren really is dying to get a job.
But she's nailing it. And even Caitlin's come around. And what happened? Because what happened to Miss Independent? I'm going to have a job. And, the kids can go to daycare. Why the change?
I want to say it's the blue-collared men out there, okay?
Yeah.
and respect to y'all, because my fiance...
Her man works at the plant. He has a uniform. That's why she's
you got
saying
your
that.
name on your shirt.
And it's embroidered and everything.
Yeah, it's a fancy label.
Yes. I mean, keep in mind, Connor is working a turnaround. He works at Formosa. He's doing 14 days on, 1 day off, 12-hour days. So, honestly, it's kind of something that I want to give to him. Dang, I want to give you my babies. I want to give you
and let me cook you supper and let me do your laundry.
And I think that's what it is, because if you absolutely love that person, instead of being told to do these things by that significant other and them not saying anything, but you doing it just because out of love and seeing how hard they work, I think that's cherishing. It's more cherishing for that.
It's intimate.
Yes, I agree. And so I think nowadays a lot of women, not so much they still want a job, but yet they want to stay home with their kid too, because they want that extra time. Right. And I have my friends who have jobs and have babies too, and they say I miss them every single day while I'm at work. But I don't think I could be a stay-at-home mom, because the time I am there and I'm stressing out, it's stressful. It's overwhelming. And so I think a lot
even when there's two of you.
Yeah, even when there's two of you. And the husband and wife can still try, and it's still overwhelming. And so I feel a lot of times a lot of moms just want to be that stay-at-home mom, be able to shop, do everything for their husband kind of thing, because that you're doing everything for them and your family.
Yeah.
You know, you're supporting the family.
That's kind of how I feel. I'd rather put all my energy into making all of this perfect, because if we were both working, the laundry's never done, the dishwasher's never empty. There's
things around the
we
house
can't-
that the men can't do while they're working. So
well,
like,
and it's a 2-person job.
Yeah.
And there's no way to completely take care of a whole human's needs and run your household and still both work 2 40-hour weeks.
No, because
2 jobs, you know.
And I get that completely, because both my sisters are stay-at-home moms and both of their husbands work. But like as a team, like with you and your significant other, he's working, you know, you're at home like doing the dishes and like doing the laundry, taking care of your kid. You know what I mean? So like, yeah, you are rewarding him with that, because you're like, this is what I'm doing to make up for the fact that, you know, you're working all these long hours, these long nights and everything. So like it's like evens out. Like y'all are still a team at the end of the day, and I feel like it definitely helps too. But I don't know how much.
We're good.
Yeah.
Okay, so I also don't want to alienate anybody here. We're talking a lot about working moms and that it's impossible to do it without 2 people. It absolutely is possible.
But I bet y'all are sad. No.
Oh my gosh, you're going to get us canceled.
No, I'm just kidding.
However, I really not only can't imagine it doing it that way, but especially after you've had a partner helping.
Yeah.
Like if that goes away and now you're doing it on your own, I can't even imagine. Cannot imagine.
That makes sense, because
Mucho respect for them.
Yes,
that
I
makes
agree.
sense, because, you know, Lauren used to be a single mom. It was just her and Sophie. And when Lane came along, it was like she could sit down, you know?
Yeah. I cannot pay attention for a while. I can take a bath and not worry about
Well,
it.
and I don't have to pay all the bills now.
Yeah.
I can spend some money on a fun costume, not just the one we could afford.
And I don't have to
Whatever.
go to work if I'm sick. I can take a day off if I have
Yes,
to.
and like what a
There's a
perspective.
freedom in that, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Well, thanks for being on.
I know. I'm
Yes,
so
thank
glad
for
you came
having
with
me.
us.
Yes,
This
it
is
was so
good.
nice seeing y'all again, and of course, and
I'll see you
I'm
in 10
excited.
days.
Yes, in 10 days.
Yeah, I'm excited for you.
All right.
yay.
Well, thank y'all for
All right,
joining
thanks.
us. Don't forget to like, subscribe wherever you listen. Put your kid at Features Academy.
We've really gotten bad about not including the commercials.
I'm gonna
I know,
get my
I
kid.
said-
We need to set a timer.
I know.
Okay, well, good luck. Hope you heard a commercial during this podcast.
Sorry, Chris.
We will talk to you soon. Bye-bye.
Hey, small business owners, thanks for listening to our podcast. Can we have $20? That will get you a 30-second commercial on our podcast, along with a mention in our post and a link in our show notes. If you're interested, give Cheyenne a call at 361-550-2325. Thanks for listening.